we are playing on another map. I actually haven't seen this one before, I believe. In the upper right-hand corner, we have Erik as the Vanguard in red. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Rhizer in blue as the Infernal. We have the first Iron Vault going down, the Scout coming across the map immediately. It's a very straight shot. There's not a lot there between either end. A little bit of damage attempting to occur. No base being built yet as of right now. Will be soon, probably. Just a minor bit of harassment from the dog against these imps. Just picking away a little bit of health, making sure the shields are gone, doing what we can. Looks like it's going to take a little bit of damage, but not too much. I think he's going to pull that dog back right now. I believe he's going to go grab that healing flower, and I would imagine he's going to come back. We still don't have an expansion or anything made by our red player. Just looks like he's going to grab that little bit of health and head back on over to try and interact with the weakened imp that he was harassing for a little bit. Make sure that he sees any expansions, meat farms, etc. A brute's available very quickly. And a meat farm is up to make sure that he has a wall off. The expansion goes out quite quickly for Erik because he is Vanguard. They have the ability to super boost their buildings by simply sending more workers. I believe he's got 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. I was right. 4 workers to get himself a lot more Luminite. And then he's doing his absolute darndest to slow down this imp from being able to place a building. You can see it doing these big loops. Just kind of annoying the brute. Not really able to do anything, but the brute is able to kill the dog, no problem. The imp isn't being threatened in any way, shape, or form. So it's just a little tiny bit of maneuverability, a little bit of annoyance and time. Doesn't want to give away all the information he can. Pushes off the dog. And then our red player is putting down 2 barracks at his natural, using all 4 of the bobs that he has created that were there. Proceeds to pull back, go grab that other flower, make it so he's back up to full health. It's a good idea that he's getting a little push across from those couple of brutes. Does his best to annoy them, to pull them back, make sure that they don't grab any of those camps, doing anything to make it so they can snowball the army. Of course, Rhizer is skill checking his opponent, making sure that he has something at home to defend. I would imagine that Erik is going to create a couple of bobs, maybe, or not bobs, dogs, maybe some scout lancers, just simply because he needs something to put that. Looks like he's going to try and surround these brutes with the best of his abilities with these upgraded or supercharged bobs. Is able to do quite a bit of damage to one of the brutes. It's got just a hair of health. And the other one also has a decent amount of health. One lancer is still chasing. I'm sorry, I had to reposition myself while that's happening. Takes out one of those brutes. Creates the pair of fiends that are available. Those retreat immediately. They're very, very quickly. Just about as fast as the dog, if I'm not mistaken. That was a vision issue that occurred there. That's why he stopped moving. He clicked on the ramp right where his vision ended, so his units did not continue to chase this brute. New brute is out. Kills the other brute. I believe he split it. Look at all that blood and gore and the body moving around and stuff. People say in this game graphics aren't there. It's definitely on its way, but this is beta. We expect that. The dog coming in, just checking out, seeing what's going on with this natural, seeing anything he's able to take advantage of, just get an idea what his opponent's up to. Nothing too crazy, of course. We have our red player getting his economy rolling, getting Ethereum, using habitats, booting his Luminites fully saturated. Not too crazy. This is all kind of standard stuff. Our blue player taking out what he can to expand his vision and grow larger. And that's interesting. Killing his fell hogs for some reason. I don't know what that was about. Maybe it was like how it positioned them. A bunch of lancers running in for the mineral line dive, while the speed camp is being attacked on the other end. Is getting at least 1 worker. Decides to pull back once the fell hogs come in. Speed camp is down. A bunch of fiends are generated with a lot of speed there. They might be able to catch those lancers if they're trying. They see the army. The dog is probably in trouble. We'll see how this pans out, because speed is very, very dangerous. And you're going to get us around. Lots of fiends going down, maybe? At least 2, 3. And one of the lancers, it looks like it's about to go down. And the gaunt gets the last hit on that. There is now 6 lancers instead. We're getting a very close, tight little interaction between these units. We have a Doombringer that is now fully loaded with units. Most likely going to go to the main of our red player as he pulls back, expecting some aggression. Doesn't know exactly where it's going to come from, and I don't know if he caught that Doombringer is on the way. Does not decide to go after the speed camp here before he continues into his assault with the drop. We're going to go ahead and try and place our camera right on top of that so we're able to see what's going on. And we can see that a Hornet comes out as this land occurs. And the scrapyard, interesting placement, just 3 hexes over placed. And we have a Hornet that is taking out a Doombringer. One gaunt against a Hornet is not a good recipe for interaction. And so all of the units are pulled back except for, of course, the Centaur. Looks like it's going to be expanding. We're going to lose several of these brutes along with the fight. Decides to pull back. Doesn't want to show off that he isn't there ready to expand. Red continues to power up, getting his Scrapyard, Hangar Bay, all those other wonderful things, sending his Lancers across the map, getting ready to try and pressure our Rhizer player on base. Has his Hornet come out and focus down the units that are able to hurt it while putting on a shield. He's able to get one, and it looks like about to get a second gaunt without losing that shield. Does get out. Decides to pull back after he takes out the base or the Shroudstone, and knocking out those 2 or 3 gaunts that were there. Hellborn shooting at our Lancers. Another Hornet coming in. Looks like they're going to push this army that was being a little bit aggressive out. There is a break apart so that they don't do that. Hornet decides to not push any further onto the Shroudstone while it's under construction, and everything pulls out. I believe you might have seen the Shadow Flares, which are basically the Scourge from StarCraft 1. Hornets out, sharking about. That third base is getting established by our blue player. Looks like the red player is about to establish his third base with just Luminite, no extra resources, no extra groupings of Therium or any of that kind of stuff with it. Just a straight up wonderful little Luminite location. Shadow Flares, Imps, sharking around, taking a look around what's going on. And Hornets coming in looking to see what they can do. They have to be very careful. There are multiple Shroudstones, there's multiple Gaunts. There's, of course, the Shadow Flare, so I don't know if they'll... it appears that they're not going to stick around. Still hasn't spotted the space yet. Looks like he's very close to doing it. Just does now. Pulls all 3 of his Hornets, goes ahead and immediately starts to pressure it. Blue responds with Shadow Flares, and the rest of his army followed pretty quickly behind that, but doesn't engage them quite yet. There's a lot of health on these shrines, and you don't necessarily want to commit everything off the hop. Just to defend something that has that health. Okay. Shadow Flare doing his best to catch up. Shadow Flare losing a little bit of health. Looks like he's going to get 2 Hornets just because he was able to place it. It was also infected still, so he has a Fiend that's just being very annoying for our red player to deal with. Losing 2 Hornets there. He's very oversaturated on his natural, a little undersaturated at his third, and is perfectly fine with what he's doing in his main. Speed camps, level 3 has come up on this one, level 2 is this one. The army is moving forward, defensive positions being placed, lots of Luminite going to be brought in very, very quickly. The Shrine is roughly a 1/3 health, so those Hornets do a really good job. I can see this being a point of contention in the future, and honestly, Red needs to do something about it, because that's a lot of income that he just doesn't have that his opponent gets. Speed Camp is under attack, is able to grab it, now should be able to engage quite quickly into these armies, gets at least 1 Gaunt out in the pullback, looks to see that we're going to go all the way in, push really, really hard, grab a Brood as well. That Shadow Shroudstone goes down very, very quickly, lots of units pushing in. Oh, goodness, look at all this damage that's going out. That Shrine getting contested and pushed down very, very fast. As I said, he would need to do that because he just doesn't have the income to compete with that. So he needed to knock it down before that occurred. Builds multiple more barracks. As you can see, there are just 6 of them floating around. A Hornet still hanging out, sharking around, doing his thing. Additional production, or additional defenses being put back in. Fiends doing the long distance mining thing. decides to go grab his natural third location versus the fourth location in the middle of the map. And you can see that we've oversaturated with our bobs. Repositioning, redistributing, which is perfectly fine. Just a normal decision making that you can do. Lots of different defensive places. Habitats not being upgraded, as well as not giving that boost to the barracks. Just an interesting note that's going on there. This high ground is just really crazy. I think what he's going to do is wait until that's got to be completely committed. He might have some kind of inkling this is occurring. I don't know where this army knew it was coming from, but he's able to make the decision to be here. The Hellborn doing their absolute best with these focused hatreds, throwing these things at their opponent, doing an AoE, a tonal shape, I believe is how it functions. Kind of see how it's going, but with these medics here, it's making it very challenging. Destroys the expansion yet again. As we said before, there is a contest that's being here because of the income that's going to be generated. Lots and lots of units getting taken out by the Hellborn. Lots of damage that's out there that needs to be taken into account. Lots of Exos just dying in the back end because of that big conal shape attack that's able to do so much damage. The third location is taken out because of these Hornets that we saw before the battle engaged. Of course, we wanted to watch the big battle, so we kind of looked at that. We're going to see this little scrimmage going on. We're going to have these Shadow Flyers, which takes 2 to kill each one of these Hornets. One of them not taking out one, I don't know what that is about, but we got lots of damage on the Shroud. Oh, he gets a shield up right before it occurs. Knocks down the Shroud Stone. This is super annoying, very nice to have the ability as a Vanguard player to put a shield on your unit, but you do it so many times, ends up losing it. 3 more Shadow Flares flying in and knocking out the Hornet that continued to harass this base. Blue, of course, is doing their best to get their 4th base up, while our red player is getting lots and lots of Therium with his scrapyard, all that kind of stuff, building up his army, making lots of Exos, and continuing to pressure this double income from Luminite location. Army's not in position. Appears that the blue player is trying to get here, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. He's cancel that. That is a cancel. It was a cancel. It wasn't a true kill, which is very useful. Lancer's getting harassed by all these Hellborns, doing lots of damage, losing all of the establishment at this base. It's basically back to neutral other than the long distance mining that these units are doing. We have the evac that was built, shown into this fight. I wonder, oh, that's why he dropped an Atlas, very much like you can with a siege tank, still in siege mode, and during that one patch in StarCraft 2, which was absolutely insane. But because the speed of attack and the way that the Atlas functions, it looks like it's not too overpowered, but it's very different from what you would expect. Erik is establishing the same base that he keeps knocking down for the blue player. Blue player taking a huge amount of damage from that Atlas, and of course the army that was there pressuring and supporting it. And the third is now officially fully established. Third has been fully established and continuing to mine. Natural is doing its thing. Main is doing its thing. Oversaturated on the thorium, but that should be resolved eventually. We got some imps coming over here. We got some habitats going down sentry post as defense against run-bys, damage, all that good stuff. You can see the whole army coming across. It's headed this way, very much trying to shove away the army or the little run-by group that's here. I have an imp checking bases, all that good stuff, as our red player looks to be setting up, pushing forward, maybe going for that third base. Doesn't necessarily know that he's going to have this big old blue army on the backside. Takes out that shrine extremely quickly. Looks to be pulling back, runs directly into the blue army, which double drops Atlases to help slow down, do damage, and manage what's going on with this army. The Hellborn continuing to rain hell down upon them, losing one during the fight. The Atlas is still perfectly fine. All of the snowbally effects that we're worried about from the Infernals, or the Vanguard has to worry about from the Infernals, excuse me, knocked out by the Atlases because the Infernals, he pulled them back into the circles. It's quite an interesting interaction. Blue proceeds to push forward against the fight. Red drops his Atlases some more. Looks to be doing his best to defend against this fight. Now we have 4 mobile cannons raining hell down upon his opponent. We have the Weaver grabbing the Atlases when they can in order to knock out the player, or knock them out, but only able to do so much, and it looks like our blue player has tapped out. He called GG.